San Francisco is a place that catches first-time visitors off guard all the time. Our weather, our public transportation, the cost, and I get the same questions quite often. I'm Jill. I live right here in the heart of San Francisco, and today I'm going to answer these questions for you. Now, I do have a planning guide and some other videos that go in deep on many of these questions, but if you just want some quick answers, this is the one for you. Let's start with the questions I get asked the most, the big planning questions that will really shape your trip.
So, how many days do you actually need in San Francisco? 3 to 5 days is the sweet spot. 3 days gets you the highlights, Alcatraz, the Golden Gate Bridge, Fisherman's Wharf, Chinatown. 5 days lets you slow down a little bit and actually explore some of the neighborhoods. Even 2 days is doable if you plan it out carefully. And if you have 5 or more days, a day trip to Sausalito or Muir Woods is absolutely worth it. Do you need a car? No, and I'd actually talk you out of renting one. Parking at hotels runs $40 to around $100 a night. The hills and the streets are genuinely stressful to drive on, and the city is small enough that transit and rideshare cover everything. Where should you stay? For first-timers, Union Square or Fisherman's Wharf are popular choices. In Union Square, you'll be central, transit is easy, and you're close to most of what you want to see. Fisherman's Wharf works if you want to be right by the tourist attractions, but it's quiet after dark and your options are limited. I have a full where to stay video linked below that goes in deep neighborhood by neighborhood. It's worth a watch before you book. How far in advance should you book your hotel? Further than you think. San Francisco has conferences and large events all year long, and hotels can fill up fast. I'd book at least 6 to 8 weeks out for a summer or fall trip. Waiting until the last minute usually means paying significantly more or ending up somewhere that doesn't really work that well for getting around. When is the best time to visit? This is really a loaded question since there are several great options. For the best weather, September and October. That's when we get our warmest, sunniest weather. Spring, including April and May, is another great time as the rainy season has ended and the city is in full bloom. The end of the year is great for holiday events and lights, and January is a great option for budget travelers. And how much does a trip to San Francisco actually cost? San Francisco is expensive. Mid-range hotels run $200 to $300 a night before taxes and fees. A comfortable 3-day trip, hotel, food, and attractions, not counting flights, could run you about $800 to $1,200 per person. Summer and fall are usually more expensive because it's a busier time of the year. January and February will be less expensive as there are fewer people around during that time of the year. It really all depends on what you plan to see, but this is a rough idea to help you get started planning. What foods should you not miss when you are here? San Francisco has a serious food scene with a large variety of options and more than 3,500 restaurants. Clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl is the classic. We've been making sourdough here since the gold rush, and it's worth trying at least once. Dim sum is a must, and if you want to go where locals actually go, I recommend heading out to the Richmond district, but Chinatown also has some great spots too. Mission burritos are in a category of their own. The Mission District basically invented the style, and there is nothing like it. Dungeness crab is the local seafood worth splurging on, especially in the season from November through June. And if you have any interest in craft food and local producers, the Ferry Building Marketplace is one of my favorite spots.
Now let's talk about the thing that surprises visitors the most, the weather.
So what should you actually pack? Layers. Always layers. A light packable jacket or fleece, comfortable walking shoes because San Francisco is a walking city, and sunscreen. The sun here is stronger than people expect, even on overcast days. San Francisco is not really a shorts and sandals type of city, even in the summer, especially in August. Is it really that cold in the summer? Yes, and this catches people off guard every single day. San Francisco is surrounded on 3 sides by cool water, which creates the perfect environment for foggy days. The city also has a lot of wind. These two together create a natural cooling effect on the city year-round. In addition, San Francisco has microclimates. One district can be clear and sunny, while the Golden Gate Bridge and the SF Bay are just covered in fog, all at the exact same time. Check out my Summer in San Francisco video for more about what to expect that time of the year. Does it rain a lot? San Francisco's rainy season runs from November through March. Each month, we get about 3 to 4 inches of rain. But the rain is combined with some foggy days and some sunny days. From April to mid-November, there is little, if any, rain. If you visit in the summer, you can leave your umbrella at home, but fog, that's a different story. So what's the deal with the fog? Carl the Fog, yes, a local actually named it recently, rolls in most summer afternoons and evenings, usually burning off by about mid-morning and comes back in the late afternoon. The eastern side of the city, the Mission District, and south of Market, they get more sun. The western side, the Sunset, and the Richmond, they stay foggier. If you're planning a Golden Gate Bridge visit, late morning to mid-afternoon are your best bet during our foggier seasons.
Up next, getting around. Because knowing how to get around before you get here is going to make a huge difference in your visit.
How do you get from SFO into the city? BART is a great option. It's about 30 minutes to downtown, and it'll cost about $11 to $12 per person. If you're on a tight budget, the 292 bus is a direct route from SFO to downtown San Francisco for just $2.25, but plan for it to take significantly longer, especially depending on traffic. Rideshares will run you about $40 to $70 once you include tax and tip. How do the cable cars work? Cable cars are more of an experience than practical transportation. A single ride is $9, and the price for that is set to increase in 2027 and again in 2028. The Powell Hyde line has the best views. The catch is that the lines to get onto the cable cars can be an hour or more at the turnarounds during high season. And I've got tips for the cable cars in a full video. You can find the link below in the description. Is public transportation safe? I don't own a car, so I take public transit almost every day, and I've rarely encountered any issues in the last 20 years. At times, you will see homeless people on the bus, or it will get super crowded. I always recommend to just watch your belongings or just wait for the next bus if the one pulling up is too crowded. You can also sit closer to the front of the bus where the driver is located if you have any concerns. But in general, both Muni and BART are pretty safe. And if it's really late at night, you might just want to opt for a rideshare to make things easier. And is San Francisco actually walkable? Very, with a catch. The city is only 7 miles by 7 miles, so everything feels close. But the hills can get steep. A walk that looks like it's only going to take you about 10 minutes on the map might involve a serious climb. Comfortable shoes are not optional.
Now for the fun part, what to actually do when you arrive.
Is Alcatraz actually worth it? Yes, and it's genuinely one of the best things you can do in San Francisco. The audio tour is excellent. Plan for about 2.5 to 3 hours for your visit. It's one of the things that you absolutely need to plan around and book well before you arrive. Tickets sell out about 4 to 6 weeks in advance in summer and other busy times throughout the year. Is Fisherman's Wharf worth visiting? For a first visit, yes, but definitely manage your expectations. See the sea lions at Pier 39, walk around, grab some clam chowder and a sourdough bowl, or an Irish coffee, check out some of its lesser-known attractions, and then move on. Just know it's touristy, and in some cases, the food can be overpriced and not as good as what you're going to find in the rest of the city. It's not a place that most locals spend very much time in. Can you walk across the Golden Gate Bridge? Absolutely. The pedestrian path is on the east side. It's 1.7 miles, and that will take about 30 to 40 minutes each way. I'd set aside about 90 minutes to 2 hours for your visit, including photos. It's almost always windy and cool, so don't forget your jacket. What's actually free in San Francisco? San Francisco has some wonderful free activities. Walking across the Golden Gate Bridge, exploring Golden Gate Park, wandering through Chinatown, and about a dozen museums are free. There is a ton of hiking too, including at Land's End, which is one of my favorites. The views from the trail of the Golden Gate Bridge and the Marin Headlands are stunning, and it's rarely too crowded. Most people spend about an hour and a half here. What neighborhoods should you explore beyond the tourist areas? There are a lot, but here are just a few recommendations. The Haight-Ashbury and the Castro for history and some color, North Beach for Italian food and some old school San Francisco energy. Most tourists never make it past Fisherman's Wharf and Union Square, and they miss some of the best parts of the city. Should you get a CityPASS or a discount card? It depends on how you plan to spend your time. The San Francisco CityPASS gets you into several major attractions, including the California Academy of Sciences, the Exploratorium, and a Blue and Gold Fleet Bay cruise, plus a few others. If you're planning to hit multiple paid attractions, it can absolutely save you money. But if your trip is heavy on most of our free things to do, such as walking the bridge, exploring the neighborhoods, Golden Gate Park, you may not get enough out of it to justify the cost. I'd take a really close look at what's included, price out what you actually plan to use, and do the math before you buy. One pass that you may want to consider if you plan to use San Francisco's public transportation often is one of our Muni passports. They offer you unlimited rides on San Francisco's public transit system all day long.
This section will answer a few practical questions I get all the time. Just a few things you need to know before you get here.
Is San Francisco a safe city to visit? Overall, San Francisco is a very safe city. It's gotten a bad rap in the news over the last few years, but the places most visitors explore are pretty safe. We face challenges with homelessness and car break-ins. Like all large cities, we also have problems with petty theft. The main tourist areas, such as Fisherman's Wharf, Union Square, around the Golden Gate Bridge, and Golden Gate Park are genuinely safe. The big area to watch out for is the Tenderloin, which is just west of Union Square. The Mission and south of Market can also get rough in a few areas. Be aware of your surroundings, don't leave anything in your car, and use the same safety tips you would in any large city. Is tipping expected? Yes, and standard US rules apply. 18 to 20% at restaurants, $1 or $2 per drink at bars, $1 or $2 per night for hotel housekeeping. And do you need to carry cash? Less and less, but I do recommend that you carry some with you. Most places take cards, but smaller spots, some food trucks, and tipping for housekeeping are easier with cash. $20 to $40 is usually enough.
And finally, the question I saved for last.
What is the one thing you absolutely should not miss? If there's one thing I want you to take from this video, it's this: walk across the Golden Gate Bridge. Not just for the photos, though those are incredible. Standing out there with the wind and the fog rolling through the towers, with the whole city behind you, that's a moment you'll remember from your trip. And even as a local, I still love visiting the Golden Gate Bridge. It's worth every minute.